LSU versus Bama isn't just a game. It's a football fistfight. You don't play in it as much as you survive it. During the last 14 seasons, you can't swing a chin strap in this game without hitting a Heisman winner, an NFL first-rounder, or better yet, an unlikely hero.
Sims, the Andrew White touchdown.
This is a game of oversized moments played on a grass stage and often with national championship hopes hanging by a November thread. What other rivalry gives you 5 field goals
Place kick. LSU wins.
and calls it the game of the century? And where else can you find a lame duck and the Aflac duck in the same place? Alabama has won 9 of the last 10 meetings and, pardon the rat poison, is favored big to make it 10 of the last 11. But here's the thing about Bama and LSU. Lopsided lately? Yes. Dull? Never.
Will be intense, an opportunity for LSU to sort of salvage what has been a disappointing season. Pleased to be joined now by the head coach at Alabama, Nick Saban. Nick, Alabama and LSU during your time there have played for championships so often. How would you describe the impact on your team's perspective of the rivalry when LSU is not fighting for a championship, just fighting to beat Alabama?
Well, I think for us, it's no different because we're sort of no different than being in the playoffs. We have to play well in November. We have to finish the season strong. LSU is always a formidable opponent. They're a very dangerous team because they're very talented, and when they played well this year, they played extremely well. So the game to us, even though it may not be the same to them in terms of what the outcome might mean, it means a lot to us, and it means the same to us in terms of how we have to finish this season.
Coach, you know you're the king when even the group of 5 teams don't like you. So you're the man. Congratulations. I wanted to just ask you about Bryce Young and the way he's playing this year as a first-year starter, what you've seen from him and what you've learned to really appreciate about his style and his approach to the game.
Well, Bryce has, first of all, played extremely well for us. And, we thought a lot of Bryce when, he was a backup last year. He just didn't get a lot of opportunity because of the COVID year. But Bryce is a great competitor. He's very smart and intelligent, instinctive football player who prepares really well for the game, has a good understanding of what they're doing on the other side of the ball. He makes really fast decisions, which I think is important. He has great judgment, and he's very accurate with the ball. So the combination of all those things has made him a very effective performer. And his personality is not one that he doesn't get his feathers ruffled very easily, which is really kind of good for that position.
And sort of along those lines, Nick, I heard you say this week that while players should always want to be at their best regardless of the outside circumstance, it's a fact of life that revenge or redemption can be motivating. You guys beat LSU last year, but the last time they came to Tuscaloosa, there were some things that ruffled the feathers of the Alabama players. If you know that's a factor, how do you use it?
Well, I think the players are aware of that. It's on YouTube all the time that you can see, what happened after the game. And but still, I think the reason that you want to play this game is, what's on the line for us. Your legacy as a team lies in the balance of the season. So how much does that mean to you? What's the game mean to you? Each and every game that you play, and what are you willing to sacrifice in preparation and work ethic to get to where you can be your best as a football player at this time of year, which is the most important time of the year, once you put yourself in a position which we have.
Coach, I want to ask you a big picture question. You get to November, and you're used to being in this position with rankings and outside noise and debates, and I know you do a very good job of keeping your team focused. What have you found for coaches? The pressure is different in November and December. What have you found works for you as far as blocking that out and getting the team locked in on what really matters?
Well, I think that's the biggest challenge that we all have because in this day and age, I think external factors, which you referred to as noise, I've referred to it as rat poison before, does have an impact and effect on, how people think, how players think, what they think they need to do to respect what it takes to win a game in preparation, as well as emotionally ready to play when they get there, to have the right intensity to be able to sustain and perform well. So this is very tricky and challenging, and I think making players aware of it, having good leadership on your team that can identify internally when certain players are not all into what they need to be doing to play well. And it comes down to accountability. Everybody needs to be accountable to do their job. Everybody needs to be accountable to each other. And I think that's a really critical factor internally to be able to sustain the kind of performance and not be affected by external factors.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.